ed, Lafayette Parish. I've seen you guys' faces, but it is truly an honor to be here. I know it's the law that I have to be here, but I'm excited about sharing some of this information with you guys. I do talk fast, so you can slow me down at any point. Special ed is a lot, and it's all in one. So we're going to go over some legal stuff, and then I'm going to brag on Lafayette Parish for some of the things that we're doing. When we talk about being number one, that is 100% my goal for students with disabilities. 100. The passion will come out. If I get a little teary, I'll apologize. Well, I ain't apologize. So it is what it is. So let's start right here. People first language. This is a major thing in our district that we need to be cognizant of. Board members, when you're dealing with families, it's a sensitive subject a lot of times, right? Students with disabilities, you kind of don't want to touch it. Some folks just get a little nervous about it. So always think about people first language, and the reason why is we want to prioritize the individual. We want to make sure we're talking about the individual, not their disability. So even if you see some slides from me, you're going to see the Department of Special Ed. You won't see the Special Ed Department because it's the people in that department first. So some of the outdated language, nearly retarded. We do not say that anymore. We say student with an intellectual disability. Special ed student, we say student with a disability. Autistic student, student with autism. Handicapped, way outdated. Student with a disability. Legal requirements. We're going to go through a lot of the law. And what I want you to keep in mind is we're going to talk about related services, and I'll tell you what that is. We're going to talk about assistive technology. I'll tell you what that is. And at the end is my favorite part, because then you're going to see it in action. But all those things don't just happen. There are legal requirements that we must abide by in order to make a plan for a student. And so what draws us is the individuals with disabilities education. 13 disabilities, federal law. I'll go over them real brief for you. Autism, emotional disturbance, intellectual disability, other health impairment. You hear a lot of the ADHD. That's where that would fall under. Specific learning disability, traumatic brain injury, visual impairment, deaf blindness, deaf hard of hearing. Even some of the names have changed. They've been updated. So these are what we want to call these disabilities. Developmental delay. In the state of Louisiana, other states do not have developmental delay. And we only go up to the age of 9. After the age of 9, it's going to fall into another category, or they will no longer qualify for a student with a disability. Multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment. So after we identify a student with one of these disabilities, we have to have what's called an IEP. And that's basically a blueprint of the student. Based on the disability and the needs of the child, we are required by law to have certain individuals at the table. That's your principal, your parent, special ed teacher, general ed teacher, and any related services. So when I say related services, I'm talking about occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech pathologists, APD teachers, depending on what the student qualifies for. I wanted to give you guys some stats for Lafayette Parish. So if we're looking at specifically for Lafayette Parish, these are the number of students with these particular disabilities. So autism, of course, I'm sure many of you have heard, being out in the community, that's on the rise, right? The other one is speech and language. We have 605 students who we have identified as needing speech therapy services. And then we have 4,116 504 kids, and that's all under our department. More some of the related services that we have to, again, by federal law. I hear a lot of times, I have a lot of people in y'all district and they're SPED. Mandated, we have to have them. So we have to have these highly qualified individuals to meet that IEP. Again, federal law is driving all that. So we have OTs, PTs, speech therapists, health services, adaptive PE, audiological services, interpreting services, social work services, and transportation is also a related service. Just because you are identified as a student with a disability doesn't mean you get special transportation. You have to qualify for it. Am I talking too fast?
No, man, you're good.
That's it. Okay, settings and placement. So in Lafayette Parish, we strive for inclusion. That is our goal all the way around to the maximum extent appropriate. We have kids with severe disabilities, and we include them with their non-disabled peers as much as possible. And we do a fantastic job here. I'm going to brag a little bit on the academic team, Mr. Touchette, Dr. Roblin, Ms. LaFleur. They help drive this work. I have never been in a position to where I felt so supported with the movement. We were number 14 from the bottom, and now we're the top 10 for students with disabilities in Lafayette Parish. We're not stopping there. We're going to continue. Our Leap Connect scores, on the rise again. Next year, they're gonna be on the up again. So then,
Reconnect score, what is it?
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
reconnect, no, that's fine, yeah, so glad you asked. So this is our self-contained, mild, moderate, low incidence autism and behavior. So if a kid qualifies with a severe cognitive disability, they don't take the standard LEAP 2025. They take an alternate assessment, and it's called Reconnect. Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. So majority of our students with disabilities in those settings do take the LEAP Connect assessment. And there's accountability points and everything to be gained there. So we take that seriously, not only for, of course, points and all that, but our kids can learn if they have the proper tools. And I'm going to show you some pictures and some slides toward the end so you can actually see the work that we do in this district. Okay, these are the law portion, right? I just pulled straight from the procedural safeguards. We give this to a parent at least once a year. At least once a year. This is basically their little book to where they can go in and they know their rights, what the procedures are, what is to be expected. I will not read this to you, but we're going to go over each one of these very briefly. And then if you have questions, please ask. These are some more in the procedural safeguards that were mandated again. Everything in SPED is driven by law, guys, whether it's federal law, state law, our bulletins. We have tons of acts that they decided to add to us this year. So there's a lot more things, cameras, outside agencies, different things that affect students with disabilities in the classroom. Okay, special education process. So we're going to start right at the beginning. So we have what's called child find. So we have an obligation that if we suspect a student with a disability, we have to evaluate. And so this can come from a parent, a teacher, and administration. And we have what's called a school level meeting. And we look at data, and then that triggers an evaluation if it's warranted. Just because a parent requests it doesn't mean it's an automatic evaluation. We have to do our due diligence, look at data, and ensure that we put interventions in place prior to identifying a student with a disability. So an evaluation, this is critical for us in the job that we do. Our pupil appraisal staff, we do have a waiver with the state right now. It's very difficult to find these individuals because they're highly, highly certified. We're talking about school psychologists, educational diagnosticians, speech pathologists, social workers. And so that is what's called a multidisciplinary team. Without that entire team, you cannot conduct an evaluation. As soon as the parent signs the papers, we got 60 business days to do it. Last year, including gifted and talented screeners, we've done over 4,427 evaluations. That is a lot. So you miss a few days, you got to get on it real quick. And then you have to communicate with the parents and ensure that they're making sure that that child is in school so we can do what we need to do. Once we determine eligibility, that's when we go into that IEP meeting and we set up all the things we need in order for that child to be successful. That's the OT, the PT, the speech, academic goals, all those sorts of things are discussed at the table. If we do not get initial consent at the IEP, just because they qualify for SPED, we cannot continue with special education services. So we do an evaluation, we get consent to do the evaluation, we have to have an IEP, and it has to be signed by that parent. And then we can move on with special education services. IEP reviews, minimum of a year, but the parent has a right to request additional ones if they feel like it's fit, and the school does as well. And a reevaluation where we go back and review all the academic, or we may decide to retest to see if they still continue to qualify, or a possible change of classification every 3 years. Acronyms of special education. So I gave you guys a little cheat sheet, and I'm hoping it does help you because I know again we talk to the public and people might say, "What is this?" And so you'll have it here and we'll go over it. This is critical because again, it's kind of funny, but it's driven by law. We have to speak to our parents in their native language and in terms that they understand. We have some fantastic teachers in Lafayette Parish. I have fantastic supervisors, but sometimes we talk in code, and so Ms. LaFleur, can you read this one?
Sure, so this is how a parent would see this. I'd like an IEP to create a BIP, but I was told that I need an FBA before I can have a BIP. And if my son gets in trouble, I would need to attend a MDR, but only if he has not been in OSS for more than 10 days. Then they told me that TOR will contact me with the PWN to set up a date for the IEP meeting, and all of that, and all of my FAPE concerns would be discussed and documented in an MPR, but he could end up in a DAEP.
Who understands that? That is my language, I understand, okay, good. Everybody with me.
No, what's a PW, not phone?
Prior written notice.
Okay.
It's funny because on Monday, a parent called me from Alice Boucher with the same conversation. I had to call Dr. Morris and man, what's going on?
I can add some more to it, but we're gonna take it easy. So next year, if I have to be back, and then we'll have a post test to see how you guys do. So that's your acronyms, you guys have it. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through all of this, guys, but just know again, everything we do in special education, laws and regulatory bulletins drive every single thing we do. If we don't follow it, there's a lot that could occur, and we're gonna follow it. We're gonna do the best we can to follow it. Our schools are doing a fantastic job. Our administrators are doing a fantastic job. It's educating the parents. I feel like many times is the issue, and I love the opportunity to sit with parents and have those conversations. And I will talk a little bit more about that. These are the state laws, and then again, a variety of bills became law, affects IEP, school choice, mental health, discipline, and different acts. So again, everything is driven by that law, for those laws. Yes, ma'am.
I know we're doing a phenomenal job. I've had some parents say that there's a lot of people requesting IEPs right now from school systems so that they can take it to the charter schools because the charter schools refuse to do IEPs. Is that accurate and is that happening?
We have some, but it's minimal to my knowledge.
Okay,
I've heard of maybe one or two.
okay. Good, thank you.
They get it from that.
Yeah, but they don't do IEPs at the charter schools.
Some of them do.
Some of them
schools, depending on, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, prior written notice. This is huge, even though it may not seem like it's huge. So whenever I get into dispute resolutions and all the things that the parents they have concerns about, has been a lot since I've been in this position. And I'd say now we're at minimum of having this issue, but we have what's called that prior written notice, that PWN. We have to invite the parent with a legal document saying you are invited to your child's IEP, and we have to give reasonable notice for them to come. If we don't have that, it's a violation on our end because we have not requested that parent to be part of that kid's educational opportunity. And so, as minimum as some folks think it is, this is a critical piece. And guys, we want the parents to be involved. We want their voice. We want to hear what they have to say. That is an ample part of their child's life, and we can see what's going on and have those conversations with them. And then if they refuse some things, we have to do another prior written notice. It's a little bit different, but all those things have to be in place. Parental consent, again, native language. That's why we don't want to use all those acronyms and just fly by. We need to break it down to them. Things need to be in writing, and a parent, it's voluntary. If they want their child out of special education services, they can take them out of special education services. The document to sign, we go over it with them, make sure they fully understand. You're not going to get those accommodations, But again, voluntary, and we need that parent's consent. This is an interesting piece. So an IEE, after we do an evaluation and we go over it and we talk to mom and dad or whomever, and we say, we feel like your child qualifies as a speech and language student. So the parent says, well, I don't agree with it. By law, we have to allow that parent to go and seek elsewhere for an independent evaluation at a district's expense. The key is, it has to be 1508 criteria appropriate. There's not many out there. There's not many. Think about that multidisciplinary team, all those specialists, the OTs, the PTs, the EDIs, the school psychologists, they don't have that on them. Very, very difficult to get. Complaint and dispute resolution. Some people think I'm a little sick. This is my favorite piece. So I'm not in all the schools all the time, but I'm there as much as I can be, thankfully, because they include me in that. We're in the classrooms and we're hearing. But I have supervisors that go out. And so if a parent is not feeling comfortable with what's going on, or they have some sort of complaint, these are the different avenues that they can go to, okay, in the State Department. And so IEP state facilitations, that was the one that's less complicated, I guess, and lower in the trend. Because what happens is a mediator, which is a former attorney or an attorney, a neutral party comes in with the parent and with the school district, and we go through the entire IEP process with fidelity. This could last a full day, 2 days, it could be all kinds of things, okay? This year we've had about 10. Mediation and resolution meetings. I combined it only because when a parent says, I want to file due process, and this is a lot of work, right? A lot of work. Just because we had one doesn't mean there was only one. I always try to go to mediation. I've never said, no, I don't want to go to mediation. Let's go to mediation. So it can look two ways. An attorney comes in on their side, attorney comes in on our side, we sit and we talk and we try to negotiate. It could be that I'm just with a parent and we're having a conversation and trying to mediate. Every time I've sat down with a parent, we've had 45 this year, I have one that I wasn't able to. The parents want to understand. And unfortunately, they have a lot of folks misguiding them, or Facebook is a lot of misinformation. And so if I can get them in and sit with them and have conversations with them, majority of the time, we don't have this, and that's why our number's so low. Yes, sir.
Informal complaints, can you give me an example?
So informal complaint, a parent may call or email LDOE and write all about their concerns. LDOE will pick up the phone and have a conversation with the parent. Do you want to push through with a due process, or you want a formal complaint or informal? Well, informal right now, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So then I get an email, contact the parent, please come in, or I'll go to your house, I've done that. Like, I'll do whatever. So we've had 7.
Okay.
Formal complaints, that's more formality.
Yeah.
11, and due process hearings, that is a doozy. That is with an attorney, judge. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. We had 1 expedited, we won it, we were successful. We have 1 pending. Formal complaints, we had 11. I don't think we've lost any there as well. So again, our schools, this is about our schools, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job.
How long have you been in this position?
Here, I was 18 years special ed director in Houston.
4 or 5 now.
Yeah, I think 5. I'm bad with numbers.
This is my 11th year on the board. Starting back in 15, the emails I got as a board member concerning this are less and less and less, down to none.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Procedures and discipline students with disabilities. We hear a lot about this. Laws are different. Special ed students with disabilities, there's extra safety nets for them, right? So we cannot remove a student out of school for more than 10 days. If a student is in ISS, whatever special education services, whatever specialized services they receive, they must receive it in that ISS. If they violate the student code of conduct, and we're looking at a possible placement to LaRose and change of placement expulsion, we must have an MDR. And that's where we sit down as a team. It's different than the hearing. We sit down as a team and we determine, was that child's behavior because of their disability? If I have a student who has severe cognitive disabilities, and we're looking at basically a 1st grade level or a kindergarten level, and they go out and do something that is just unbelievable. F you to the teacher. You know, and then you have a conversation. Is it a pattern? Has he done this before? Is he on a behavior plan? All those things have to be taken into account, and then there's a consensus. I need some water, y'all. The only difference is getting stuck. That's what I get for talking so fast. The only time, and we still need an MDR, we still do it, is legal drugs, serious bodily injury, and weapons. Serious bodily injury is not just I hit a teacher, loss of life or limb. Severe stuff. So, just so you guys know, in our district so far, as of January 10th, we've had 180 MDRs for our special education, 504, 316. The addition to the law has kind of made those go a little bit high, but we're doing a really good job of that now. So, student in the eval process, many people didn't know, this is good for you guys to know. If a student has a suspected disability or they're in the eval process, they still have those special ed rights. So we still have to go to an MDR and do all that, even if they have not been eligible yet. Private schools, as long as we say, hey, private school kids, you guys can come to Lafayette Parish and we will provide you with what you need, that's all we need to do. Okay, we do provide special ed services to private schools. We do have a special education teacher who goes out and provides services to different special ed.
So Holly, charters, they ask for that. How do we handle that?
They're their own.
They have their own. But if they don't provide it,
We just say, you're more than welcome to come to Lafayette Parish. We'll serve you. I want to see somebody, I mean, just the things that we're doing here, I really get excited. I'm super passionate. If y'all don't know, we have a special ed Facebook page. Go look at it. Go look at what our kids and our teachers and our staff are doing. It's insane. Anyway, specialized trainings. We don't just sit there and just wait for people to train us. We don't want to sit and wait. So these are just some of the things that myself, our supervisors, school teachers have been trained in. Super proud of the summit. We have a special ed summit that we just created a couple of years ago. We did it for 4 days. We opened it up to everybody. Phenomenal. We took a year off. We did it last year. We filled up the place again. So principals can come, gen ed teachers, parents. I'd like to do one eventually for parents, but it would be much shorter and just kind of breaking down, talking slower about the things that they need.
And the summit was just for Latin parents, or for the
They asked for everybody over there.
Yeah, that's good. Good job.
Actually, Mr. Lejeune, how wonderful are the busy beans on Friday when they're doing coffee?
Oh, yeah, unbelievable.
Huh?
That's the best part of the week.
My wife,
He might have started it because now we have other schools doing it.
you realize my wife is going to work late just to go to KN and get a cup of coffee with busy beans?
Nothing wrong with that.
What is the busy bee?
They go around and serve coffee.
Our
Give
schools
donations.
Yeah.
So I bought, I don't know, they had a couple of teachers, so I said, hey, I want to get them each a water and a coffee. On Mac attack. On Mac.
Still working.
I
Yeah, it's signing now.
I give him a $20 bill for like 2 coffees in the water, he puts it in the jar and takes off. No change.
We don't give you change.
Sandra looked at me, she said, you're not expecting change. I said, evidently Mac doesn't give change. Love Mac attack to death. Yeah, the busy beans, they're the best. Go to KN on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
Seriously, y'all go get a cup of coffee.
If we go to Campbell Middle on a Friday, there's different places now, like we're just, they picking up on it and they rolling with it, which is awesome.
Yeah, the teachers really like that.
Oh, yeah.
They really, really enjoy that part of the morning.
So the meat of the law part, okay, but all those things I talked about in order to create some of the things that you're gonna see is the why we do this. So if you look at it, Latin affairs, we're different. We have interpreting, sign language interpretation. We have consortiums, we have other districts that come to us for these specialized services. Communication boards, that is huge. We've done a training for our administrators, both principals, assistant principals, I think ILs as well. You have to think about a student who has the inability to speak language. It does not mean that there's nothing in here. Cognitively, they're probably way ahead of what we think. And so, again, Mr. Touchette and the other folks for allowing us, especially when that ESSER money came in, they said, well, I said, okay. So we have high tech, low tech, and mid tech, and you'll see a few videos of that. But these are communication boards where kids cannot speak, and so they carry it with them. And it's programmed, and they learn how to specifically use it to eventually create full sentences. So it's incredible.
No, that's provided by the school, right?
Yes.
I've seen them carried around by the movie,
All in
I never knew
IEP,
how they got them, but
if the IEP deems that it's needed, yeah, we have a communication plan, we have to do a lot of legwork. Gifted and talented, of course. This right here is probably one of the most fantastic things that we were able to purchase, and it's high-tech eye gaze machine. So if you want to go to Woodville and see that, that's where this little boy is over there. It's a camera, basically. The eyes are tracked, and the student is able to participate with his other kids. This is how he takes his assessments. And believe it or not, he's super smart. And we would have never known that. We would have never known that if we wouldn't have attempted to do what we do. And we have 2 fantastic assistive technology specialists.
that's the only place right now, Woodville. Woodville's the one place.
No, that's the only one that I can.
Okay, that's not, no, that's, I'm
But
gonna
we
check it
have
out.
one.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
OT services right here. This little girl was in severe stomach pain. So Fleur can tell you, I think she got teary-eyed about it at one of our elementary schools. And she was just all walking, running around, and the occupational therapist came up to us and said, night and day. We purchased that as a school district because the IEP team says, you need that. Night and day for these kids. Community partnerships, I'll talk about that, but I don't know if you guys know, and you guys need to, because you guys are critical out in the community, and if there's more we can get our hands on, I'm all about it. I'm all about it for our kids. We have sensory rooms for our kids with autism or behavioral needs. It's not just a playroom. We're getting better at it, and we're specifying and making concrete ways that we're supposed to utilize these. We have Special Olympics. We have relationships with the National Guard, Meal on Wheels. Our kids, Big Connect kids, actually create these Meal on Wheels, and they get them out for the community. This right here, this is the newest for us. And many of you may not see, please, if you want to come see, just come and find me at central office or shoot me an email. This is our pre-K assessment center right there at our building, okay? Brand new. What happens there is all the kids up to 3 years old get evaluated right there. The families get to come. We have OTs, PTs, APEs, speech pathologists, educational dyacs, school sites. That parent doesn't have to come back and forth all the time, more than 5, 6 times. They come in, we evaluate them. If they qualify, we provide services right there. There's not another parish that does that. We provide speech there, integrated resource, different type of interventions. We do it all right here. Brand new. We'll work on it. We're going to tweak it. We're going to make it better. What a great opportunity for our kids and our parents. That's the preschool, and you'll see the inside. But it's super nice. This is our little audiometric sound booth, so we actually are able to check the hearing of the kids right there on site for the parents.
How do the children get selected? Is it through referral from a doctor, through Head Start, through?
So we have what's called a child farm. So there's early steps, there's physicians. We have posters everywhere in the schools and doctor's offices and things. They call us, early steps work with us, and they refer them to us.
Great, thank you.
I was bragging on the AT, that's our high-tech, low-tech, mid-tech. If you look at what we're doing in Lafayette Parish, this is just an example. Austin ISD has 75,000. Lafayette Parish has 29,000. Look how many more one-to-one devices we have than them. And that's Texas. I came from there. They have money. I don't know if that's it, but I just wanted to show you guys a little video of a mid-tech device. Bear with me. Bottom. I have it turned up here on my laptop. Yeah. Oh, what do you want? I want. Good job. You want a hug? Good job. Speak off. Speak off. Speak off. We're waiting.
Good job, buddy.
All right, come on. I'll get your book. Have a seat.
Good job, William.
This is a mid-tech.
What's your line? Good job. What do you want?
I want. Good job. Okay, you want. That's the same one. I'm sorry.
R-O-W.
This is a high-tech device.
Good job, grow. Go find it. Good job, Greg. Grow. Jalen, what's the word? Grow. Good job. Jonathan, you looking for it?
This is little guy right there. He said, yep.
Actions are green. Go home. It's an action, it's something people do, but it's, you have to go to your more actions. And it's something people do, it's a people action. So when they're a baby and they get bigger, clear. Let's try again. Now stop what you're doing. And instead of pressing something very fast, I want you to look. Okay, think of it. When it's grow. When you grow, you are a baby, then you become you're a kid, and one day you're going to be an adult. Good job, grow. All right?
Oh my God, this isn't perfect. This is training. We're teaching these kids how to use it. They just got this a few months ago. She's a fantastic teacher. But we're teaching them in elementary, so the goal is that when they get to high school, they can utilize those devices. They can have a low tech maybe at first. Then we're looking at a mid tech and a high tech. So whenever they go to, believe it or not, they can go to community college. Absolutely, literally connect. They can. We have some that do, and they can utilize those devices. So for me, that's a huge win. And that's very different than what any other parishes that I know of that has those types of things and those resources for our kids. And our kids deserve that. Y'all heard that Bill Platt come out and yeah.
I
heard it.
Yes.
It scared me. I go all over. All right. Thank you. Hey, that church was in Andy, my grandfather put the cross on there. I know where that's from. No, I'm sorry.
I think that's.
There we go. Okay, this is the high-tech eye gaze machine. You're gonna see him make a few errors. We're working on it. So Tusha had the opportunity to go in and see it, and he was reading the whole paragraph, which was,
There's the word find.
Right here.
Find the word
and
find.
he's using
Good
this device with a
job,
camera software.
Chloe.
So
What about the word the? Where's the word the? You're still doing fine. Can you tell me the word the? Where's the word the? I hear fine, but I want the word the. Very good.
So the teacher manipulates it so they understand it, but he's way more advanced now. He's literally eye gaze paragraphs, so he's reading to this class.
There's the word.
This is the thing I wanted to share with you because we're super proud of this. Our reconnect kiddos, our kiddos with more cognitive disabilities, we have partnerships with all these people. Our kids are bused to these different places and they learn on-site job skills. Depending on the disability, it may be wiping a table, it may be answering phones, it may be filing, it may be help prepare food. So there's a diverse array of different opportunities for our kids. Our new LPSS cafe, we hadn't started yet, but I was told you can start soon. So in a couple of weeks, you're going to see some of our kids out there, which is absolutely phenomenal. So depending on their level, they're going to do higher level type activities. And it's good for whenever they transition out post-secondary, so they have some of those skills. Here's some pictures of our students out in the community. You can see some at Dino's. They're doing different things. Extended school year. So this is for students, again, with the severe cognitive disabilities who are usually on that Leap Connect track. They have to qualify by an IEP to attend this, but it's basically focusing on social skills, behavior if we have some, ELA and math, but we also make it fun. So we incorporated special ed Olympics, and so these are the kids, all the different things that they're doing here are modified based on their disability. So you'll see parents working with them, teachers working with them, and some are independent. This little girl right here, the parents did not want to send her to school. Did not want to send her to school, was scared to death. And so one of my 504 facilitators said, will you meet with the mom? I said, bring the mom and the dad. So we sat, I said, bring the kid too. And so long story short, thriving at Gallaudet right now. Thriving at Gallaudet right now, using a communication device. And during the summer, they would send me videos of what they're doing at the boathouse, riding the boat. I mean, just absolutely huge win. And then lastly, therapy. found it beneficial and that you learned something to learn new, but you also see the fantastic opportunities we have for our kids here in Lafayette. So thank you all for that, sincerely. All the support is very much appreciated. Please don't hesitate. If you want to come see something, I would be more than happy. Yes, ma'am.
So for all of the services, can you explain the locations, or is it at every school, do we have hubs, how can you?
Absolutely. So we do not have every single setting at every school. We have all inclusion, we have resource, and the majority of our schools, we do have some self-contained. But it's all based on the numbers. So if we have a student at one school who requires an ED setting for behavior, and then we have two at another, it would not be feasible financially. It wouldn't be responsible, in other words, to have them at different locations. Because we're looking at different settings. We're talking about one teacher ratio to possibly one para, or one teacher, two paras, depending on. And that's all dictated by the state. And so we look at where those students are coming from, and then we identify the facility, the school. So from year to year, it could change, depending on the new students that come up in our district and where their zone is located.
So, I mean, we're all representing, different districts. Is there, in District 8, I have Woodville, Middlebrook, Algelma, and Milton. Do I have,
Woodville, you have
I know I have
everything at Woodville. You have everything at Woodville. LJ, you have the autism setting, you have inclusion, you have a combo. Where else you said, I'm sorry.
Middlebrook, Algelma,
Middlebrook, you have an ED, you have a mild moderate, you have inclusion. So it's a variety, depending on, and so we look at projections, typically we start early this year, about February, March. And so we want to identify the students and the settings they need. Again, it changes, because if we have an IEP meeting and say, you're doing fantastic, you no longer need that type of specialized setting, because that's our goal. That's our goal. Then it shifts. And so we look at the students that are newly identified, currently identified, where their home zone is, and we try to get them to their home zone as much as possible. But we go with the majority of where those kids are.
So board members, I can't stress to you the importance of what Holly brings to this team. Like, you can see her passion, but more importantly, her knowledge of SPED. And I tell you, we all feel comfortable knowing that she's leading this team. And Holly, we just want to thank you for everything that you do.
And I know several teachers that actually have children in the program, and they cannot be more grateful that they're able to do their job and their kids are being so supported. And so thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
We're probably, 20 minutes behind. So, yeah, 5 minutes, and we're gonna start. We gotta start with Alex.